All right, hello, Marin. I started doing this by putting notes in it, and it's just taken so long. So I've decided to do my grading of the report. Since it's so long and involved, I decided to do it with video. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this, and basically you'll be just like kind of looking over my head, sort of or over my shoulder as I'm grading it. Hopefully you'll appreciate this anyway. It might be a better way to work. So let's go ahead and start here from the beginning. Everything looks good as far as your formatting is concerned. I did notice here that you didn't really have anything in here to kind of let your audience know about the importance of the topic, right? So that you should have a statement in here, maybe a sentence or two that that tells your audience why they should care about the topic, right? And then you'll have your thesis statement at the end. And your thesis statement, by the way, is very good. It looks great. I appreciate your subheadings in bold. Those are great things to have. Now here at the beginning, when you're just kind of introducing some information that's sort of basic and about kind of about what social media is and this kind of stuff that's very, basic background information, it's okay to cite it the way you've done it here. You don't really necessarily need a signal phrase. You don't necessarily need the one thing you do need, which I've marked up here, is that you should have a comma and a period, a comma in here after Harmon and then a page number. Or if you don't have page numbering, you could use a paragraph number and you would put PAR period for paragraph. I don't know if I was hoping it would let me. Yeah, I think it'll let me put this in here. So what it would look like, actually let me do it down here where you can see it better, would be, and you should do this for all of them, regardless of whether you have a signal phrase or not, you should do this for all of these entries. And what you do is you have the author's last name like you have it, and then you have a comma. Why is it not letting me type in there? Oh, I know why. I think you did this. This is a PDF, isn't it? Okay, so all right. Well, if this is a PDF, then I won't be able to type in it. So I'll just tell you what you do is you put that right there where the cursor is blinking. You'd put a comma, and then a space, and then you would put a page number if it has page numbers, and that would just be the number itself. So it would be comma space 6, right, or whatever, 27, whatever the page number is. Just those three items: last name or author's last name, comma, and the page number itself. If it didn't have page numbering, then you could count down and find out what paragraph number it's in, and in that case you would put Pugno, whatever that's pronounced, comma, and then PAR. Actually, I'm getting it mixed up with something else. You don't need a page, when you have a page number, you don't need a comma. But when you have a paragraph number, then you have to have a comma there because you're going to follow the Pugno name with the PAR, the letters PAR, little PAR. So it would be Pugno, comma, PAR, and then a paragraph number, 3 or whatever, right? So if it's page number, it's just Pugno and the number, no comma. I got that a little bit off backwards. Okay, so that's how you do for all of these. Now, when you get down to the important information, like down here where you're talking about the actual data and information that you've discovered about the actual topic itself, that more important information requires a proper introduction of the author. And so as you'll see here, I have this note here says see integrating source video or a tutor for how to properly integrate your sources. So that would be a good idea to maybe review that integrating source video, because this shows you how to incorporate, like with an author's name here. So what you want to do is you want to introduce the source by the author's full name and their role or something to qualify them. So you might say, according to whatever this person's name is, let's say it's Jahada Karaduman, you would put the name, and then you would put something like, maybe after that you put a comma, and then you put the name or his job, just his job title, or that he's a in other words, something to qualify him, something to show that he's worth listening to. So it could be a title, it could be his job title, whatever it is, something, you might say something like president of such and such company, whatever, something to qualify him and tell your audience that he's worth listening to, or she. And then when you put that signal phrase with the author's name in here the first time, then the only thing you need in here in the parenthetical is just the page or paragraph number by itself, just that, right? So it'd be either just a number, a space number, or it would just be PAR period and then a number, if it's paragraph number, right? And you do that for each one as when you first introduce them. See, we want to do that here for Tannen, and anybody else you want to introduce them properly. Okay. Now, when you get down to as you keep writing, if you come across another author, like here you have that author Pugno again, but now he's providing more important information. So here at this point, that's when you would want to introduce him more formally, like I just talked about. Okay, even though you've already cited him before, now he's providing important information about the topic itself, and you want to make sure your audience knows who he is by his full name and something to qualify him. Okay, and don't forget to always put that page or paragraph number in these parentheticals. Okay, if you were to mention Cara Duman again later, at that point you would not have to say his full name and credentials. You could just say something like Cara Duman also notes blah blah blah, right, or also claims, and then in the parenthetical, since you already used his name, even though you just use his last name, you could put just a page or paragraph number. So the thing to take away from this is that the author's name, when there is an author, the author's name always has to be in one place or the other, either in the signal phrase or in here, but not both. And a page or paragraph number always needs to be in the parenthetical. Okay, so that's kind of what I want you to get from that. Now, otherwise, I kind of already went through this and everything looked pretty good. Here's an example of that. So here, instead of putting Tanhan in here, you would put something, you would have a signal phrase that says Tanhan also notes, or also claims, or informs us about, or whatever. So you need to put him in the, you can put that in the signal phrase, but it's okay. It's not necessarily an absolute requirement to do that. You could just keep it in here, but just remember to have that page or paragraph number in there. As long as you formally introduced him in the first time, you don't necessarily have to have a signal phrase every single time. But it's good to do that, because signal phrases help your audience to follow the paper better and easier. Okay, so signal phrases are really the best practice. Okay, all right, now. Like I said, I already looked all through here. Everything looked pretty good. I appreciate you talking about the gap in here, so that's good. You talk about the opposing viewpoints a little bit and get into some information about that, so that's good. Now we get to your research methods. Data was collected using West Virginia library databases. This excess spacing, like right here, tells me that you probably used right margin justification. It's not too big of a deal, but you don't want big gaps in here, so it might be better just to make it left margin justified instead of full justified. But I'll leave that up to you. It's not a big deal. All right. So you talk about trustworthiness, talk about them being analyzed for credibility and relevance. So you even talk a little bit about how how they fit, how they worked with that. So that's good. And then you talk about your primary research, which is your survey. You provide some of the questions that they ask. Now there's something to note here. You do not need a comma. So you could delete these commas here after the question marks, because you never need a comma You never need two punctuation marks side by side like that, two different ones. So, you would never need like a question mark and then a comma. Okay, so that's you can delete those commas. Now this comma you need because there's no other question mark there. Oh, actually you do need a question mark there because this does look like one of your questions. So that actually should have a question mark there instead of the comma. Okay, and here you end with a question mark. So that's good. And then you talk about a weakness in your own work and your own research, and that's great. So good job including that. Now you combine the results and discussion sections. So let's see how you did here. Primary. Your grammar and everything's mostly great too, by the way. Limitation to the research, good. Include that. Talk about it again. And then you talk about some of the statistical information that you discovered. And then you have your figure here that you put in a nice way here, kind of side by side. That's a perfectly acceptable thing to do, and that's good. It helps your audience to see the information about the figure right beside it. So that's great. And then down below you have the figure number, you have the citation, everything you're supposed to have. So that's all awesome as well. Great job. And then you just basically finish discussing the results and how they align with the other research and all that stuff. So that's all great. You give them a last point here, and then you have your conclusion. Conclusion looks like it's good, short and sweet. Talking about the primary, secondary research shows similar outcomes, suggests this and that. These results demonstrate that while social media is very helpful for users, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sorry about that. Somebody just came in and handed me something. Anyway, okay. So yeah, your paper looks very good. Other than those things about the citations and stuff, it's really very good. So that's really about the main thing you need to concentrate on is fixing the citations, adding signal phrases, and things that I've noted. Your works cited page here looks awesome. Formatting and everything is great. HAHEKPT, very nicely done. And you got what, 6 sources? So you got as many sources. You got one more source than you actually had to have, so that's great as well. So, Marin, very nice job. What you want to do now is you want to just use this one down here to fix the things that you need to fix. Actually, since I decided to do these by video, you really don't even need to go down. You could delete this copy down here, and you could just fix this one. And just remember that you have to make sure it's clear to me what you've fixed. So what you'll do is you'll go through here and you'll fix every little thing that I marked, everything that I've talked about, and you want to put in a highlight. You want to put that like highlighted in a highlighter color, an easy color to see through, like lime green or something like that is always best. Don't highlight it in dark red. That makes it hard to read the words in it, right? But just you can simply highlight it and then over here put a note telling me what you did. What you did to fix something, right? So like up here where I told you need to fix where you needed to fix the citations, you could just fix the citation, put it in highlight it with a highlighter color, and then over here put a note saying what you did to fix it, and that will be good enough, right? So do fix everything, and as I tell everybody, make sure you resubmit it to me after you fixed it, so that I can give you more feedback and we can make sure that your paper is awesome for the final product, for the final portfolio. All right? If there's any questions or anything, feel free to let me know, and that will do it for this video.